isn't it?
Much better. That is much better. I can get the whole view. This is awesome because I don't even have to do the landscape. I can just watch myself like this. Looks amazing. Yeah. So today I want to do. How was your day, by the way?
Bro, it was okay. I had not full day today. I had half a day, you can say. Cause it
Yeah.
was just on online. I just had to do some questions and stuff, basically.
That's pretty cool, man. I woke up very late, to be honest. I woke up. I put the alarm for like 9 o'clock, 9:15. I had four
Yep.
alarms on. I was waking up every single time, but it was like I was so tired. I was like, I don't want to wake up. And then I wanted to do boxing at 11 o'clock, so that's why I put the alarm for like 10 o'clock. But then
Okay,
I was
okay.
like, okay, I should probably take some rest because my body is tired. So I woke up around like I would say kind of like 11:30. Woke up
Mm-hmm.
and then I watched like a couple of YouTube videos for like a while. Had like a few
Yep.
bananas and oranges, and then I fell asleep
Yep.
again. It's like I was watching a video and then I fell asleep again, and then I woke up
Yeah.
around like after 5 o'clock, 5:30. Bro, so body was broken.
Yeah. I think it's you've been pretty active on gym, right? So I think that's probably why as well. That could
Yeah.
be the reason as
I
well.
mean, I'm back to like training sort of like every day. Like every day I'm kind of doing something. So like this
Yeah,
week,
that's why. Yeah.
from Monday to Friday, I was either doing MMA or I was doing gym or like something like that.
Yeah.
And today is probably my only day off. But even today, you know what? I might even do something later on. But I'm not sure about it. Like I'll see. I might get a recovery, eat something good, and then pick it up back from tomorrow. Like that could be also be a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad shot. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's pretty
But yeah,
good.
let's get into the topic today. I want to do something interesting. I want to do something different. So it's not like MMA based, but what do you think is the best sport on the planet? That's what we're going for today.
The best sport in the planet.
Yeah, we're
Oof.
talking about like any sport. So like you could have water sports, and I don't think any of us, either of us, has done any sort of like water sports. We don't do like what they call surfing.
Best sports in terms of what, like friendly, like for any kids and stuff like that, or you're talking about like the hardest sport in that term?
Okay,
What do you mean?
let's have like different categories. What do you think is the hardest sport? We can talk about all the categories, and let's talk about like what's the hardest sport on the planet in terms of like again the hardest sport will be like okay, is it the hardest sport to learn or is the hardest sport to actually do because you have to put in a lot of hours that requires a lot of hard work.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I mean to
I think
me,
okay. Let's start with the hardest sport to in terms of like putting in a lot of work.
yeah, yeah. Let's talk about that. Yeah,
I,
first.
I think I would say any combative sport, to be honest, whether that's kickboxing, freestyle wrestling, MMA. The reason why I say that because even when you're starting it off, right, there's not much glory up until you're all the way in pro leagues, you know. So you're basically are sacrificing quite a lot of you, like financially you're sacrificing quite a lot. When it comes to your energy levels, you're sacrificing a lot, your time, effort, you know. I think that's why any combative sport, whether that's wrestling, MMA, boxing, there's not much glory up until you go into pro league. So I think it takes
And
a
I think you
lot.
just have to do more in the combat sports, right? So let's say we could talk about like
Yeah,
badminton as comparatively because we play badminton a lot. So these are the sports like
yeah,
we can actually talk about. Like with badminton, you're not playing that like 5 days a week. Like most of the people don't actually do it unless you're playing on like the pro level, right?
yes,
I think
yes.
only the pros are probably playing like 5 days a week. They do some crazy amount of hours as well. By the way, they're training every day like 6 hours, 9 hours. I used to play in Wimbledon, and the pros were doing like that. But
Yeah,
badminton, even if you're playing like 3 days, 4 days a week, you're gonna learn pretty quickly, at least to like a decent level. And then once you want to
yes.
move above that level, then it will take a bit of time, but it's much quicker, I would say, in terms of like the
Yeah,
learning of badminton.
yeah. We can talk about even badminton. We played a little bit of soccer as well, football. We played a little bit of basketball as well. But nothing is as hard as I would say any combative sport. Obviously, there is some gifted people who can pick up very fast.
Yeah,
But in terms of when you're talking about like an average person just picking up any sport, I would say any combative sport is pretty grueling as well.
I think
Pretty
combat sports are
grueling.
going to be the combat sports are going to be the hardest ones. Obviously, there's people
And
who possess like
to be really specific one, I would say either wrestling or MMA, because with MMA there's quite a lot to learn.
Hmm.
and you can't master all of it at once. So you're always a student to that art. There's always something to learn. And with wrestling, the only reason I say because it's just brutal. Like you remember when we used to go to Sid's class, he would, especially on Saturday, he would just make us do like 16 to 20 rounds. The whole session you're just doing rounds. Like you're on for 2 to 3 minutes. You're
Yeah, yeah,
only have 1 minute or 30-second break, and then you're on to another opponent. Either facing a guy who is much bigger than you or much lighter than you, and it's pretty brutal. I think those
yeah.
two sports are really tough in my eyes.
Dude,
Um,
wrestling has gotta be,
yeah,
if you talk about like the physically getting tired, wrestling's gotta be the most tiring sport on the planet. But I would also say, like, if you're doing MMA on
yeah,
like a decent level, because there's so many things that you have to do. Like in MMA, even though you can mix up different arts, so like, okay, if you're not a wrestler, so you can mix it up with the striking. But imagine you're not a wrestler and then you are underneath a wrestler if he takes you down. Then he's sinking, he's taking
yeah,
all the energy out of you. Sorry. So that is pretty hard. And even just changing, man. Like people
exactly.
think that changing the arts is so easy. It's so tiring on the mind sometimes. Like, all right, I don't even know
Oh
sometimes
yeah,
the guy that I'm sparring. Like, is he good at wrestling? Is he good at striking? Do I shoot on
oh
him?
yeah,
So,
that's true as well. Yep.
so yeah, my brain is constantly working. Like, what do I do? And if I'm extremely tired, and my style is more like a wrestling style, right? I like striking as well, but I like shooting for the takedowns. Like that's a process I love. But then sometimes I'm thinking like,
Yeah,
okay, this guy's got his knee ready. He's trying to knee me, or like, do I actually shoot now, or like if he's doing very well on the feet, and I'm like, I'm extremely tired from wrestling because I did the last round wrestling. I wrestled a lot in the last round, and this round I wanted to take a break from wrestling, but this guy's piecing me up on the feet. Do I really want to shoot? But then it's like,
yeah.
yeah, it's pretty hard.
Yeah, you're right. I agree with you. Especially in MMA when you're when any even when you're doing sparring, just even at your gym, there's so many people around you, so you don't know what's your opponent really good at, and what he's really bad at. So you just have to figure it out right at that moment, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think that at times it can be like stressful as well on your body because you just don't know what's coming at you.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing I wanna mention. Well, one way we can separate the combat sport from all the other sports is because there's a lot of contact involved, and there's more
Oh
injuries in
yeah, that's
combat
true.
sports than any other sport. So it takes a bit more commitment than any other sport. I'm not saying that people don't get injured in the other sports. Like we see in football all the time. Like people get injured, they fall down, and because of the speed that they're running at, they can get like pretty bad injuries sometimes that can last for like a long period of time. But MMA, if you're doing any sort of combat sports, that's kind of guaranteed. Like you're gonna get injured, and the small injuries are
Yeah,
gonna be part of your life. Like there's so many times, man. Like I don't even know when I was 100% last time. Like every time we're training, there's like, okay, I today I have like a broken finger, or like my ankle is bad. Maybe it's not broken, but it's bad. It's worn out. Oh, I've got a back pain. I've got a shoulder dislocated shoulder, something like that. So you would have, even the fighters that are actually going into the fight, you would never see a UFC fighter being 100% going into the fight. They would always have some sort of injury going on.
yeah,
So
100%. That's true.
yeah, that's unlike any other sports. Like in other sports, you might get an injury once in like 3 months, once in like 6 months, and it would be like one injury. But if
Yeah,
you're doing any sort of combat sports, you would have multiple injuries. You would have like a bad elbow, and at the same time, you would have a bad ankle as well. But then you just have to work around it throughout the whole training camp.
yeah. It makes sense to be honest, because you're not learning to kick a ball in the net. You're more like learning to be a killer. So you're learning all these lethal moves from coaches, and obviously when you're doing sparring, you have to obviously showcase. And that's why I think it's a very tough sport, and it does toughen you up. Uh, like when I used to play badminton,
Yeah,
it never toughen up. Something about MMA,
you.
like you will have a bit more control what I
Spike,
mean?
your voice is
You can't
so.
obtain that kind of character when you're only playing badminton or you're playing let's just say football to kick a ball in the net. You get what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, I completely understand. It's like the consequences at the same time as well. Like when you're playing badminton, let's say, give an example of badminton. When you're tired, extremely tired,
Yeah,
it's like sometimes you wouldn't want to run for the shuttle. The other guy is making you move a lot, and then you look at the skill level as well. Like if it's a bit higher skill level than you, he's going to be able to control the moment around the court. So that does feel pretty bad on the body. It's like I don't want to do it. But it's like, what are the consequences? The consequences are okay. I'm going to lose the match. I'm going to look bad in front of the people if there's like a bunch of people watching the match. But in MMA or any sort of combat sport, the consequences could be pretty bad. Like it's not just that you're going to look bad in front of the people. It's also like you could take punishment on the body. Like this guy could, whatever he's doing to you, like he could finish you, or he could just keep putting the pace on you. He's laying heavy on you, and now you're getting tired. So you are tired, but he's also on top of you. So he's making you extremely tired. And then if he chokes you out in front of everybody, that's not a good
it
look.
is pretty embarrassing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's way to do that is sport, and that's why not just combative sport. You just have to go through something really difficult in your life to obtain that. Just like let's just say if you're in army, a lot of people, those guys are mean as well. Like you can tell, like when people have went through a lot of shit in their life, like their demeanor changes as well. You get what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it's not like a very chaotic type of demeanor. It's just like you have it very controlled. You unlocked it, and now you know what you're capable of. You get what I mean?
Yes.
You're not insecure when you're walking on the street. If a guy is there picking a fight on you, or if he's trying to bully you, like you know you can bring that character out. And I think that's very important in this age as well, because there's a lot of people who bully kids around and stuff. So I think in terms of that, any combative sport is very helpful to fight against that. You know?
Yeah, no, I completely agree, man. It gives you the ability to for self defense. And it's not even like
Yeah.
that you have to pick up the fight on the street. Obviously, nobody should be looking for fight in the streets. If you can actually avoid it, that's the best solution, I think. And MMA actually tells you a little bit about this as well, like martial arts. So when you do look at a person, I think from the body language, you should be able to tell if the person is actually looking for a fighter or not. And then because you've been in this
Yeah.
situation many, many times, you would understand that if he's actually looking for it and what sort of threat he could pose, the way he's moving, and when do you actually need to action. Um, I think that's a good one. But if you do need to, if it comes down to it, at least you have the ability to do something, at least defend yourself or your family.
Exactly.
So that's
Yep.
a good one. Okay,
100%.
so we have established the fact that there's so many benefits of like doing the martial arts. First of all, we established that it's one of the hardest sports in terms of like people just training through the injuries, the commitment that it takes, and the number of days that you actually have to give. That's
Yep.
pretty hard. It's unlike any other sports. Now we're going to talk about the physical fitness level of it. Physical fitness level of all the sports. I think that there are athletes that are better than the MMA athletes, to be honest. If you're looking at just the athletic abilities side of it, which sport do you think has like
Yeah.
the best athletes? Just pure like athletes who have like a high stats. And what do I mean by athlete? By athletes, I mean guys who have like endurance, who could run for like long periods of time.
Who
And
can
I'm not
run,
talking about
who are strong, who are flexible, right?
who are flexible,
Those
who are
type.
fast. Like I'm talking about athletes like speed, let's say, right? Probably
Yeah,
doesn't have the best
yeah.
endurance, but he's like an athlete, man. The guy is explosive. He's so explosive. He
Yeah,
can
the
do the
guy is a
backflip.
beast.
The guy is
Yeah.
a beast. He can do the high jumps. We're talking about the stats: long jump, high jump, fast running, endurance running, like all of that sort of stuff. MMA does
Yep.
have some pretty good athletes. I'm not gonna lie about it. Like some of them are crazy athletes. But which sport do you think has the best athletes?
Well, I think there's two. In my eyes, I think there's wrestlers who are strong, fast, and athletic.
They
And I
are.
think mountain climbers, they are pretty athletic as well, I think.
I think
I
mountain
think,
climbers are pretty, but like at the same time, like mountain climbers, if you're talking about like the endurance wise, right? I'm sure their
yeah.
muscles are pretty like endurance wise pretty good. But do you think they have like explosive muscles? Because they don't have to make explosive sort of movements. It's kind of slow, static. So like so you know like jiu-jitsu level guys, they have different sort of strength from like the wrestling level guys. Wrestling guys, because the matches are very short, it's like 3 minutes, 3 minutes a round. It's like explosive training because you have to take the other person down. You have to slam the people down. So they're pretty fast at shooting. They're strong. They'll pick you up. They'll beat you. Jiu-jitsu is a
Yep.
different type of strength. They have like immense wrist strength, and it's a kind of strength that actually lasts longer. So like if you're in the gym and you're doing bench presses, most probably if you're a wrestler, you're gonna do boom boom quick ones, right? If you're a jiu-jitsu guy, you're probably gonna do slow because you wanna
Yep.
trapped. You want to be like you're going to be in a long term sort of long format matches, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It could be even longer as well. I know they're trying to make it
Yeah. So you want those
more
muscles
sort
to
of
be
static
activated
sort of
and have
long
really
sort of
good stamina.
strength,
Yeah.
right? So I think with the mountain climber guys, it's a
Yeah. Yeah. You're
bit
right.
of a different type of like athleticism where they can just go for like a long because you don't know how long the hike is going to be, right? Some of the hikes could take hours, but they can do it for hours and
Yep.
hours, and they have those sort of muscles. But yeah, you could put them definitely put them on the list, but it will be there. I guess swimmers are pretty good, man. Like swimmers, lately could like some of the
Yeah.
guys just they could do it for a long period of time. And I know it's one of the most tiring sport because I can't even properly swim. But I know if I spend like 30 minutes in the pool, the amount of energy I'm spending it's crazy. And like swimmers, even without going to the gym, they can actually their body would look very fit. And it's I know it's very good for like even the
Yeah.
combat
That's
sports
true.
training. Like a lot of people who actually swim, they have very good stamina. Like Marab does it. A lot of other people do it as well.
Yeah. I was thinking another sport. You know, gymnasts.
Oh yes, yes, dude,
They're pretty athletic,
bro. Even
strong. They can jump
even the
high.
strength. I think gymnast you're definitely gonna have to put there. Yeah, that's a good mention because I don't know what those guys do for training, but they have everything. Like these guys are
They do.
fucking
Yeah.
strong, bro. Like they can and
Yep.
endurance. They can like stay on the
And bro,
upside down position
yeah,
for.
you know, exactly. You know, they can lift triple their weights.
Hmm.
It's actually insane.
That's insane. That's insane.
Majority of them can. Yeah, their strength is through the roof, and they're not like power lifter type of physique. They're more like athletic type of physique because they have to do, like, you know, on a bar how they hang. They have to roll over the bar and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's crazy. I don't know. It takes a
Yeah.
lot, to be honest
So
with you. Yeah.
gymnastics actually, gymnasts, they're training, they're doing the resistance training a lot because they have to. There's so many like competitions that they have. Some of them are like, how long can you actually stay on the pull-up bar, right? Just stay on the pull-up
Yep.
bar. So how long can you hang for? Like that's part of the gymnastics as well. So they have the endurance strength. Plus, they also have the explosive strength because you will see them backflipping all the time, right? And they're not doing one backflips. They're doing fucking I don't know how many backflips they can. And
Yeah. Yeah.
there's so much more explosive stuff that they can actually do. The pull-ups, plank squats, static holds for strength, plus dynamic movements and flexibility work for agility and injury prevention. All built on foundation of balance and precise technique. One thing we forgot to mention is balance. They have great balance. And you know who else has great balance? It's like the
Yep.
skateboarding guys. They have great balance, so they're good athletes as well. But I would say I
Oh
would
yeah, they
prefer
have insane. Yep.
they have insane balance. But I would say gymnasts over skateboarders because just because of like the endurance, I think that they have to endure
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
it. One other type of athlete I want to mention is like the basketball players. I think even talk about like when people talk about like explosive athletes, like the high jumps,
Yep.
the speed,
Yep. And they
and
have decent amount of stamina because I'm pretty sure how long does the game go on for? Is it 60 minutes?
well, it is pretty long. Let me check actually.
It is pretty long.
It is. It is.
Either if one team scores up to 12 points, then the match is over, or I believe it's like up to 90 minutes or something like that.
And bro, you remember when
I
we were
believe.
playing basketball, we were actually getting tired because it's actually pretty tiring. Or I guess playtime is like 48 minutes. And then there's like
Okay,
12
48
minutes quarters.
minutes.
So it is 48 minutes, it's still something. But they're constantly
Yeah,
running. That's the thing,
100%.
right? They don't stop.
Yep.
There's a lot
Yep.
of motion. So yeah, good stamina, very good explosivity. I'm sure these guys
And
lift
bro,
a lot.
yeah,
So.
yeah, their jumping skills have to be at the top of the game because they have to jump and hit the hoops, the ball in the hoop, right? And then even to defend, they have to jump. So the jumps are pretty must be like very like strong,
Yeah, yeah,
you
it's
know?
constant motion. The jumps have to be good. They have to do high jumps, and most of them can actually jump like 5, 8, 6 feet. Again, depends on the height as well.
Yeah,
There's people as well. 6 feet 6 inches, 7 feet guys as well in basketball. So I definitely want to put them on like very high on the list. Like basketball players, definitely. I also want to put like NFL guys. I feel like NFL guys can do because if you look at the stats, right? These guys look pretty muscly. They look muscular, but they can jump pretty high too. Like I
Yeah.
remember when Brock Lesnar was actually doing NFL, I think he was jumping like 4.5 or something like that. I'm talking about the height.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
he had insane stats and speed wise, like these guys can definitely match the speed of like the soccer guys. So even though
Yeah.
football guys are like much smaller than the NFL guys can run at almost the same speed as like the football guys.
Yeah. I think that's good. Yeah.
And
I
we
think
know how
these
strong.
sport.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they tackle a lot as well. But you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put wrestlers very high. I'm gonna put wrestlers very high, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
because
wrestlers I'm putting very high as well. Yeah.
they're there
They require
because
everything. They
they
require
require
everything.
everything. They require everything. Like you look at the best athletes in the UFC, who are those? They're wrestlers. Like wrestlers have the
Yeah.
best stamina. And I was talking about the explosion, right? I was like, okay, wrestlers mostly because they have to do the explosive activities, mostly like slamming people, like taking people down. So, but like they have good stamina. You look at the stats in the UFC, like who was the best wrestlers in the welterweight division? The guys with the best stamina. It was Kobe and Usman actually taking each other to 5 rounds. They were the ones putting pace on everybody else, getting them tied, but they could go 5 rounds. And then you have like some of the Dagestani guys like Khabib. Although it's not like a freestyle wrestler, but these guys have done a lot of wrestling. Khabib, Islam. So and then you look at like their training. I mean, these guys can pretty much do everything. They're so flexible. A
Yeah.
lot of them can do backflips. I mean, the cartwheels and like the front flips. These are like the basic activities that the
Yeah. They
wrestlers.
do
These are like the
frog
basic.
jumps. They
These
do
are like the
like
basic
running
warm
as
ups, right?
well.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Handstand, hand hooks
Handstand
as
is
well.
pretty common. Yeah. So these are like the basic exercises, and it's very strong for the body as well in terms of like taking the punishment, right? So I would add that aspect to the sport as well. So like part of the endurance, like with the basketball athletes and with the NFL athletes, right? NFL
Yep.
athletes do actually have to tackle each other a lot. But with the basketball athletes, I'm not calling them soft. I think the basketball athletes are like very, very strong. But at the same time, they don't have to have a body contact. So their body is not used to taking the amount of like, what I want to call it, like a tackle or like a
Punishment. Yeah.
punishment. It's not used to doing that. So if you go a little bit harder on the body, if you put a bit of pressure on the body, it might actually get tired or it might actually get injured. Whereas with the
Yeah.
wrestlers, the techniques involve a lot of like making it hard on yourself, like you're doing with the neck exercises when you're going up and down. It's like getting your neck used to be bending in different ways. Is the same with the like the back exercises, the exercises that you're doing for the back because your back has to bend a lot during some of the motions.
Yep.
Whereas for some of the sports you don't have to do that stuff because you're not having the body contact. So I think this is some sort of like beauty with the body contact sports. And NFL, I would say, is kind of part of it, although it's very short term because you're running a lot. But when you do actually have to have contact, you need to build your muscles to be able to endure that. Like with those guys, I'm sure they do like a lot of neck exercise because if there's like a collision of two
Yep.
guys, especially running at that speed, I don't think any normal human being can actually take that.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna put overall. I have to do the assessment. I'm gonna put like okay. One thing we didn't do: triathlon athletes.
Who?
Triathlon. You
I
know,
don't
like
know. I
those.
don't know
So
them.
triathlons are the ones who actually do like a. So they do like half marathon or like a full marathon. So it involves like three different sports. So in the same day, you're doing like a half or a full marathon, and then after that, you're doing the cycling, and you're doing cycling for like miles. Now you know how endurance, how much endurance and how much like resistance cycling takes. That's like one of the hardest ones, right? When it comes to stamina and cardio, it
Yep.
takes the energy out of you. You cycle for like 10 minutes, bro. That's a lot. And then swimming, and swimming is also one of those ones. So if you're talking about like the cardio and the stamina, I would say this one, man,
Yep.
triathlon athletes, their conditioning is like one of the best. So I look at some of the guys
Yeah.
like Nick Diaz, they actually did that and they could put the pace on
Yeah.
you for
Their
like
base is
round,
good as well. Yep.
and they don't even get finished. They were not getting finished like those guys because I think it's just builds the endurance in you.
Yep. and there's people like David Goggins. So I'm pretty sure they train like that as well, and they're just insane
Bro,
with
200
their
miles.
stuff.
Like those guys are doing 200 miles. Oh my God. Holy shit.
That is
How do you
ridiculous.
run
Yeah,
for that long? Like literally those guys are running for 1.5 day straight up.
that is.
Like if you're talking about endurance, I don't think anything beats those athletes. Like that's one of the best aspects. So yeah,
Yeah.
we talked about the sports. Yeah, if I have to put what's the best sport on the planet, I'm gonna put it as like MMA because I think it involves a lot of like we did talk about like the conditioning for MMA. Um, but I think you have to put MMA as like the best sport on the planet just because there's so much involved in this. I don't think there's a sport that involves like every part of the body and it requires the type of motions that you can actually because there's so much you can actually bring to the game, right? So I'm not saying MMA athletes are the best athletes, but there's so much more that you can bring. That you could be a great triathlon athlete, right? And then if you're fighting
Yep.
in an MMA fight, you could bring some aspects of your triathlon training into MMA, which is kind of like a resistance
Oh
training,
yeah,
right?
that's true.
Endurance
Yep.
training. Like I can stay outward. I can throw some shots, and I can get the other guy tired, or like even the grappling aspect of it because I can just do it for a long, long period of time. I can
Yep.
outlast the other guy. Or if you're like a great gymnast, I mean, you could do the flip. There's so many things. Like even if you're doing like MMA, like
Hello.
what I'm, yeah, like yo bro, how's it going? Oh my
Can you
god,
hear me, bro?
I can hear you. Have you started a new stream by the way?
Bro, your voice just went dim.
Can you
I
hear
don't
me?
know why.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but
Okay, I think there's
it's
a new stream
very
that there's a new stream that got started. So
okay. Should I leave and join back?
I think I'm probably gonna leave and then we can start a new topic maybe because I guess like if we talk specifically about UFC, more people would be interested if I mention like some of those names.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, but let me finish. Let me finish this one last thing. Just one last thing about this MMA thing. Like what I was saying about MMA is like MMA because there's so many arts, right? No other sport has like that many arts involved. Like there's a wrestling aspect of it, there's jiu-jitsu aspect of it, there's striking aspect of it. So there's more that people can actually do. So I think when we're talking about like the best sport on the planet, okay, there's great athletes in MMA, but also like the brain part of it, the creativity part of it. There's so much more you can add to it. There's always new things you can add to it. Whereas with some of the other sports, like if you're looking at the athletic sports, right, like with cycling or like running, you can probably cycle in a different way, but it's not like you're gonna add a different aspect to the game. You can probably run in a different way, but you're not gonna add a different aspect to the game, right? You're doing the same thing. You're running, you're cycling. But with MMA, you can always add something new. Okay, this is the new type of kick I'm gonna add. There's a new type of punch I'm gonna add. There's a new way I'm gonna. There's a new martial art that I'm gonna add. So that's why I think I rate
Yep,
this as the best sport on the planet.
that's true.
Okay, let me add something. Let me start a new stream. All right, bye bye.
Okay.